刘振利参谋长，尊敬的各位来宾、女士们、先生们、朋友们，
Ladies and gentlemen,
上午好。
friends, good morning.
至此，习近平主席提出
10 years ago, President Xi Jinping put forward the vision of building a community of shared future for mankind and the Belt and Road Initiative.
我们迎来了
Today,
第10届
we're
北
here
京
to have the
香山
10th
论坛，
Beijing Xiangshan Forum.
来自100多个国家、地区
We have
和国际组织的嘉宾，
delegates from over 100
齐聚北京，
nations, regions, and international
共同寻求
organizations
维护世界和
gather here
平
in
良
Beijing
方，
to
共
find
同探
ways
索
to safeguard world
新
peace
型安全之路
and。explore
我
a
代
new
表
path
主
to
办论坛
security.
的中
On
国
behalf
军事科学学
of the
会
China Association for
和
Military
中国
Sciences
国际战略学
and
会
China
对
Institute for
大家的
International
到来
Strategic Studies,
表示
I'd like to
热烈的
extend
欢迎
warmest welcome to
和
all the
衷心的
guests.
感谢。今天，
This
中
morning,
华人民共和国
General Zhang
中央
Youxia,
执委副主
Vice
席
Chairman of
张
the
又侠
PRC
上
Central
将
Commission
专程出席
come
本
to
次论
attend
坛开幕式。
the opening ceremony.
让我们以热烈的掌
Now,
声
please
欢
welcome
迎
General
张
Zhang
又侠副主席
to deliver
做主旨发言。
the keynote
有请
speech.
张又侠副主席。
Please welcome.
尊敬的各位朋友，
Dear friends and colleagues,
很高兴与大家相聚在金
It
秋
gives
世界的
me
北京，
great pleasure to join you in
共同出
Beijing
席
in the golden season of
北
autumn
京香
for
山
the
论坛。
10th Beijing Xiangshan Forum.
首先，对各位新老朋友的到来表示诚挚的
Let me
欢迎
begin。by extending our warmest welcome to all friends, old and new.
本届论坛是新冠疫情发生以来首次恢
This
复
is the first
线
in-person
下论坛
Xiangshan Forum since the outbreak of the
过去
COVID-19
几年
pandemic. In the past
我们
few
经历了
years, we
新冠疫情大
weathered
流行，
the pandemic,
遭遇了诸多全球性危机，
encountered multiple global
目
crises,
睹了多地局势动荡，甚至
witnessed
冲突战
chaos, conflicts, and even wars
切
in
身
many
感受到
places.
和平之
And
不
we
易，
have learned firsthand
安全之可
that
贵。
peace never come easily, and security
去年
should be cherished.
习近平主席
Last year,
站在全人类福祉的高度，
with the well-being of all
提出
humanity in
全球安
mind,
全倡议，
President Xi Jinping proposed
为
the
破
Global
解
Security
全球安
Initiative,
全困境，实
providing
现世界长
the
治久安，
Chinese approach
提供了
to
中国方案。
addressing global security challenges and realizing
此次论
lasting
坛
peace and stability.
我们以共同安
As
全
the、theme of
持
this
久
year's
和平为
forum,
主题，
Common Security Lasting
就是
Peace
希望同
indicates
各方
we
同
look
心
forward
协
to
力，
working with all
携
parties
手
to
落实
implement
全球安
the
全
Global
倡议，
Security Initiative, or
共
GSI,
建人类
build
安
a
全
community of shared future for all,
为变乱
and at
交织的世界
more
注入
certainty,
更多确定性、
stability, and
稳定性
positive
和
factors
正能量。
to the changing world.
各位朋友，各位同事，
Friends and colleagues,
北京香山论坛创办于2006年，
the Beijing
到现在
Xiangshan Forum was
也是第
initiated
10
in
届
2006, and this is the 10th event.
10在中国是一个吉利的数字，
10 is an auspicious number
寓
in
意
China.
着成熟，
It represents
象征着
maturity,
圆满，
completeness,
饱含着收获，
and harvest.
也昭示着新起点
10
和再出发。
also means a new starting point for the next
这
stage.
第10届论坛一路走来，
Throughout the years,
论坛始终秉持创办
The
初
Shanshan
心，
Forum remains committed to
广邀
its
各界
funding
精英，
purposes.
广
We,
聚天下
from
朋友，
nations all over the world with
不同
different
民族，
religious beliefs
不同信仰、
and cultural
不同
backgrounds,
文化背景的国家，
are gathered
在这
here
里以对话
to
增互信，
build trust
以协
through
商
dialogue,
化分歧，
resolve
以交流
differences
促合
through
作，
consultation,
形成了
and promote
开放、
cooperation through
包
engagement.
容、
In this process,
互鉴、
a Beijing
合作的
Shanshan
北京
spirit
香山
that
精神
features equality, openness,
一路
inclusiveness,
走来，
and mutual learning
论
has
坛
come
致
into
力
being.
于共商安全大
The
局，
forum is dedicated to promoting security
始
through
终以
consultation,
人类
aligning
前
itself
途命运
with
同
the
频
future
共振，
of humanity
以全球安全治
the
理
advancement
同步前
of
行。
global security governance.
越来越多的国家
With more and
和
more
国际组织
countries
加入进来，
and international
共同打造了
organizations
具有
participating,
重要国际影
the
响力
forum
的
has
北
created
京香
a
山
Beijing Shanshan platform with major international
一路走来。
influence.
论坛积极回应各国关切，
Throughout the years, the Shanshan Forum has covered the concerns of
聚
different
焦亚
countries,
太到
from the
关
Asia
注
Pacific
全
to
球，
the world,
从防务安全
from
到国家安全，
defense security to
从传
national
统领域
security,
到新型领域，
and from conventional
坚
areas
持为
to
解
new
决
and
重点问
emerging
题
ones.
限制
The
限
forum
策，
has put
建言
wisdom,
发声。
suggestions, and solutions
今天，
from all over
近
the
50
world
个
for
国家
addressing
国防部
hot-spot issues. Today,
军队总长等高
senior
层领导
defense and military leaders
6
from
个地区
60
和国
countries,
际组织代表及专家、
representatives
学者
from 6
齐聚一堂，
international organizations, and
共谋
experts
安
and
全，
scholars are
共商
gathering
合
here
作，
for
必将为世
security
界和
and
平贡献出
cooperation.
更多
And we are here
北京
to
香山智
contribute
慧。
more Beijing Shanshan wisdom to world peace.
各位朋友，各位同事，
Friends and colleagues,
世界百年变局加速演进，
transformation unseen in a
各种
century
新旧问
is
题和复
accelerating
杂矛盾
across the
相互
world.
碰撞，
Problems, old and
交织
new,
发酵，
and complex issues are
和平赤子，
converging with and compounding
发
each
展赤
other,
字，
and the
安全
deficits
赤
in
字，
peace,
治理赤字，
development,
陡增无比。
security, and governance are on the
就在此
increase.
时此刻，世界一些
At
国家
this
和
very
地区
moment,
仍处于
some
战乱之
countries
中。
and regions are going through terrible wars and
人类社
conflicts.
会实现共同安全和
For the
持久和
human
平，
society,
依
there is a
然任
long
重
way
道远。
ahead to realize common security
一是
and lasting peace.
冷战思维阴霾不散，
First, our world is
我
overshadowed
们应
by the
避
dark
免陷
clouds
入
of
阵
Cold
营
War
对抗。
mentality, and we must avoid falling
人
into
类
block
文
confrontation.
明已进入21世纪，
With human civilization
霸
already
权主义、
in the 21st
冷战
century,
思维早已不合
hegemonism
时宜。
and the Cold War
不得人心。
mentality have long been outdated
全世界
and
有良知的
unpopular.
人们都在期盼和
People
平、
with conscience all over the world
发展，
all yearn for
合作、
peace,
共赢。
development, cooperation,
但
and
个别
mutual
国家
benefit.
始终抱着你
However,
输我赢的
certain
零和思
countries
维，
stick to the zero-sum
信奉弱肉
mindset
强食
and
的
the law
丛林法
of
则
the，jungle.
大搞拉帮结派的集
They're
团政治，
stoking group
推
politics
行筑
by
墙
putting together
设
small
垒的
cliques
单边主义，
and pursuing
使我们
unilateralism
这个世
by
界
setting up
充满了战争
barriers
的阴霾
which have
和
shrouded our
人道主
world
义的灾难。
with the shadow of wars and
如
humanitarian
果心中
disasters.
充满敌意，
If someone
必然
has
满
only
眼都是
hostility
竞争。
in mind, he could
如
see
果只顾
nothing
一国
but
私利，
competition.
必然看
If a
谁都是
country
对手。
only cares about its own interests, it would perceive everyone
如
else
果总
as
是
a
打
rival.
压异己，
If it
必
obsessed
然导致
with
世界的冲
suppressing
突和战
others
乱。
with different opinions, it would
习主席
surely cause
主席
conflicts and
主席
wars in the world. As President Xi
把
Jinping
别人的发展
indicates,
视为威胁，
viewing others' development
把经济
as a
相
threat
互依存视为
or
风险，
taking economic
不会让自己
interdependence
生活得
as
更
a
好，发
risk
展得更
will
快。
not make one's own life better or speed up
谁
one's
都希望生
development.
活在和平的
We
阳
all
光
want to live under the
下，
sunshine
谁
of
都不愿意
peace
笼罩在战争的
rather
阴霾
than
中。
the shadow of wars.
我们必须高度警惕
We must
冷战
stay
思维
highly
卷土
vigilant
重
to
来，
the resurgence of
共
the
同
Cold
抵
War
制撕
mentality
裂世界的错误做法。
and resist wrong actions splitting the world.
二是
Second,
地缘政治形势严峻，
facing a grave geopolitical landscape,
消弭战乱，
we should double our efforts to eliminate
环顾
wars
当
and
今世界
conflicts. As we look
热
around,
点问题此
we
起
see hotspot issues cropping up from time to time.
动乱之乱，
Repeated
生
sufferings,
命之伤。
cares, loss of life caused by wars and
然而，
turmoil.
个别国家
Unfortunately,
唯恐天下不乱，
certain countries
蓄意制
keep
造动荡，
stirring up
插
troubles
手
around
地
the
区事
world.
务，
They
干涉
deliberately create
干涉别
turbulences,
国内政，
meddling in regional
策动
affairs,
颜色革命，
interfering in other
手
countries'
伸
internal
到
affairs,
伸向哪
and
里，
instigate
哪里
color
就不得安宁。
revolutions. Where they
甚至
put their hands on,
一
there
己
is
之私，
instability.
到处
What's
埋
more,
钉子，
they keep sowing
人为制造
discords
很
all
多
around
地
for
缘
their
政
own interests, resulting
长
in
期拉
many
偏架，
geopolitical
导
problems.
致地区
When
局势
addressing
复杂
regional
难解。
disputes, they always
背后递刀
unfairly
子，
support one
不
side,
惜挑起
only to
带
make
给
the
人战
situation
争，
more
以
complicated
受
and harder
疑
to
问之
handle. They even fuel disputes by
人类
providing
发展的历
weapons
史
and
别
launched
再过，
proxy wars to profit at the
无
cost
论
of
是
others.
谁片面谋
Human
求
history
自
has
身
shown us many times
结果
that
都
those
是
who
以害人
exclusively
害己
pursue
而
self-interest will hurt not only others
各国和
but also themselves in the end.
则世界安。
The world will not be peaceful
我们必
unless
须高
every
度警惕
country
人为
enjoys
激化矛
peace.
盾，
We must be
渲
highly
染对
vigilant
抗，
against any
避免
deliberate
战略误判。
escalation of tensions
当务之
and
急是防
exaggeration
止
of
地区热点
confrontation
升
and avoid
级事
strategic
故。
miscalculation. The priority for us now is to prevent regional hotspots
但是
from
国际安全
escalating
不可
and
不
getting
可
out of control. Third,
我们应
international
共同应
security
对
is
多重威胁。
indivisible. Therefore, we should work together to cope with multiple crises.
当前，安全问题、
Security issues
联动性、
have become
跨国性、
more
多
interconnected,
样性更加复杂。
transnational, and
战争冲
diverse.
突负面效应
Negative
持续蔓延，
spillover of wars,
能源危机
growing energy
粮食危
and
机
food
日
crisis,
益加剧，全球产业链、
damages
供应
to
链
global
稳定受到
industrial
冲击
and，supply chains,
恐怖主义、
terrorism,
网络攻击、
cyber
跨
attacks,
国犯罪层
cross-border
出不穷，
crimes,
太空、
as well as
极地、
rising risks in emerging areas such as space,
人工智能
polar,
等新兴
polar regions, deep sea,
潜在风险、
biology,
快
and
速
artificial intelligence.
多重危机、
All these
相
crises
互交织
are intertwined with each other.
全球难民、流
Globally,
离失所者
the number of refugees and the displaced has reached a record
给人类
126
共
million,
同安全
It
敲
should
响了
be
警钟。
alarming for all of us.
在全球性挑战面前，
In the face of global challenges,
没有谁能独善其身。
no country can stay
我们必
unaffected.
须高度警
We
惕各领
must
域
watch out
风险
for
源
the
叠加联动，
interaction and
在
combination
团结
of
协作
different
中
risks
化解安
and
全风险，
address security risks
破
and
解安
challenges
全困境。
with concerted efforts.
各位朋友，
Friends
各位
and colleagues,
面对变乱交织的世界，
in a world mixed with
习近
challenges
平
and
主席提
turbulence,
出的全
President Xi
球安全
Jinping
倡议，
put forward
为我们
the
指明了
GSI,
共同安全
setting a
实
right
质和
direction
平的
towards
正
common
确方向。
security and lasting peace.
倡议提出以
The
来，
Global Security Initiative has
得
since
到100
received
多个国家
support
和国际
from more than
组织的
100
积极
countries
响
and
应。
international organizations.
大家在推进落实的过程中，
In the process
越来
of
越深刻
promoting
感受到
and
这一重大倡议
implementing
持续
the
焕发出
initiative,
的真理力
we
量
gained a
和实
better
效。
understanding of its strength and
因为
significance.
命运与共，我们更加深感
As we have a
相
shared
互尊
future,
重
we
是共同
become
安
more
全的基本
aware
前
that
提。
mutual respect is a prerequisite for common
在
security.
全球化大潮下，
Thanks to
各国
globalization,
不是各自乘在190多条小船
countries are
上，
no longer sailing alone
而是共
on
乘
some 190 or so small boats, but together
休戚与共，
on the same
安
big ship,
危共担。
sharing will
如果
and
没有
woe.
互相尊重，
Without
就
mutual
难以和
respect,
平共处，
there is no
共同
peaceful
安全更无从谈
coexistence,
起。
let alone common security.
我们始终认为，
We believe
国家不论大小、
all countries
强弱、
are equal
贫富，
on the ship
都
regardless
是这条
of
大
their
船上的
size,
平等一员。
strength, and
唯有
wealth.
彼此尊重，
Only with mutual
同
respect
舟共济，
and
才能
solidarity
穿越惊涛骇浪，
can we weather
驶向
stormy
光明未
waves
来。
and sail to a bright
正如
future.
习近平主席讲的，
As put by President Xi
赠人
Jinping,
玫瑰则
when
手
you
有
give
余香，
roses to others,
成就
their
别人
fragrance
也
lingers
是帮
on
助
your
自己。
hands. In other words, helping others
东方倡导
is also helping oneself.
要尊重彼此主
China
权和领土
advocates
完整，
respect for each other's
尊重彼
sovereignty
此核
and
心利益
territorial
和重大
integrity,
关切，
respect for each
尊
other's
重
core
各国
interests
人
and
民
major
自主
concerns,
选择的发
and
展道路
respect
和
for the
社会制
development
度，
path and social system
重视和
chosen
照顾各
independently
国
by the
安
people of each
和平
country.
合
We
理
should
关切，
accommodate and take seriously
不能
the
把自
legitimate
己的意
concerns of other
志强
countries.
加于人，
No one should impose
不能把
their
自己
wills
的
on
利益凌
others
驾于人，
or place their own
不能把自
interests
己的安
above
全
others'
建立在
interests
别人
or
不
to
安全
secure
之上，
themselves at the
更不
expense
能
of
在重
others,
大
or
敏感问
even
题上
worse,
故意
to
挑衅。
deliberately provoke others on major and sensitive
台湾
issues.
是中国核心利益中
The
的核
Taiwan
心，
question is at the core of the core interests of
一个中国
China.
原则，
The One
是
China
国际社会
principle
的普遍共识。
is a universal consensus of the international
无论
community.
谁想把台湾
No
以
matter
任何形式从
who
中国分裂
tries to split Taiwan
中
from
国绝
China
对、
in
中
any
国
form,
军队都绝不答应。
China and the
绝不手软。
Chinese military will never allow that to happen and will never be soft on them.
经历动荡纷争，
The experience
我们更
of
能体会
turbulence
对
and
话协商
conflict
是
taught
化
us
解分歧的最佳
that
途径。
the best way to resolve differences is through dialogue and consultation.
对抗分裂，没有谁是赢家，
There is no winner
对
in
话协商
conflicts and
才是
division.
人间正道。
Only dialogue and consultation is the
从
right
历史
path
上看，
ahead. Looking back
冲
on
突最后
history,
都需要通过
all
对话。
conflicts were eventually settled through
越是困难
dialogues.
重重，
The more
越要为和
difficulties
平
there are,
留下空间。
the greater the need to keep
越
space
是
for
矛盾尖
peace.
锐，
The more
越不能放弃
acute the
对话
problem
努力。
is, the more important it is not to give
化
up
解分
efforts
歧
for
的关
dialogue.
键在于当事方
Key
拿出诚意
to
沟通，
resolving differences is for
其他
parties
各方
directly
也应
involved to
为此创
communicate
造条
with
件。
sincerity, while other
中方积极
parties
推
should
动
also
热
create
点
favorable
降温。
conditions. China has made
在
active
朝
efforts
鲜
to
半
cool
岛、
down hotspot issues
阿富汗、
concerning the Korean
叙利亚、
Peninsula,
伊朗、俄
Afghanistan,
等问
Syria,
题上，
and the Iranian nuclear
坚
issue
持劝和
by
促谈。
encouraging
凝
peace
聚更多
talks
共识。
and building wider consensus.
中方
We
秉持客观公正立
uphold
场，
an objective
支持政治
and
解决
just
乌克兰问题，
position and support
呼吁
reaching
巴以
political
冲突各
settlement
方
on the
立即
Ukraine
停火止
crisis. We call for an immediate
早日恢复
ceasefire
和
and
谈。
stop of violence by parties in the
愿继续为
Israeli-Palestinian
实现地
conflict
区安全
and
稳
an early
定发
resumption
挥
of
建
peace
设性作
talks.
用。
China will continue to play a constructive role in realizing international
今年
and
3月
regional
在中国
security
斡旋下
stability. In March this year, with the
沙特和
mediation of
伊朗
China, Saudi
实现
Arabia,
了
and
历史
Iran
性
achieved
和
historic
这
reconciliation.
就是对话
This
以
is a
和平的胜
victory
利。
for dialogue and peace.
面对风险挑战，我们更应坚信合作共赢是持久和平的强大动力。团结就是力量，信心赛过黄金。在严峻的挑战面前，合作是我们的最好选择。中方始终倡导合作共赢、合作共生。在追求幸福安宁的路上，各国都不能掉队。长期以来，中国始终是维护世界和平的中流砥柱，是世界经济稳定增长的重要动力源。
China has been a major defender of world peace
我们以
and a major engine for steady growth
150
of
多
global
个国家
economy.
开展军事交往，
We have built military relations with more than
成为140
150
多个国
countries
家和地区的重要贸
and
易
have
伙伴。
become a main trading partner for
去年
over
10月
140 countries and
中共
regions.
20大胜利召开，
Last October, we successfully convened the 20th National Congress of the Communist Party of China, at which a grand blueprint was drawn for building China into a strong country and rejuvenating the Chinese nation. President Xi Jinping indicates that
中国
China can only do well when the world is doing well. When China does well,
会更好。
the world will get even
我们
better.
坚信，
The fact that
一个14亿多人口的大
China,
以
a
和平
country
方式实
with
现
a
现代化
population of over 1.4
必然
billion,
为人类
is
进步
realizing
带来
modernization
强劲
in a peaceful manner, will give a
刚刚
strong
成功
boost
举办的
to the
第三届
progress
一带
of
一路
mankind.
国
The
际合
Third
作
Belt
高
and
峰
Road Forum for International
为世界和
Cooperation,
平和发展注
which
入
was
信
just
心动力
concluded successfully,
描
has
绘了
injected
更具
confidence and
创新
impetus
活力
into world peace and
更加开
development,
放
representing a
包容的合作
prospect
前景
for cooperation with greater innovation, vitality, openness,
中方
and inclusiveness.
愿同各方一
China
道，
is ready to work with all other
继
parties
续坚定不移地
to
推动
promote
高质量
high
共建“一带一
quality
路”
cooperation for
落实
BRI
全球发展
and
倡
put
议，
into practice the Global
全球
Development
安全
Initiative,
倡议，
the Global
全球
Security
文明
Initiative,
倡议，
and the Global
在互利
Civilization
合作中
Initiative.
共享
We will share
发展机遇，
China's
在
development
共同繁荣
opportunities
中
through mutually
促进实践
beneficial cooperation and promote lasting peace and common prosperity.
各位朋友，
Friends
同事，
and colleagues,
中国百年屈辱史告诉我们，
a century of humiliation in China's history
必
tells the
须要有
Chinese people
捍卫
that
和平的力量
the
做保障。
aspiration for peace can only be realized
中国军队
with the power to
是
defend
捍
peace.
是维护世界
The
和平，
Chinese
捍
military
卫领土主权
is
的
a
坚定力
staunch
量。
force safeguarding world
为共同
peace
安
and
全和
defending
持久
China's
和平。
territorial
我们
sovereignty.
愿同各
To
方一道，
realize common security
携
and
手
lasting
践行
peace,
全球安
we
全倡
stand
议，
ready to work
努
with
力
all
开
other
创一个
militaries
远离冲
to
突、
act on the
有目
GSI
和平的
and
新局面。
build a world with lasting peace and free from conflicts.
我们要持续深化安全互
We
信，
should continue to deepen mutual trust on security.
是国际关系中
Trust
最
is
好
the
的粘合
best
剂。
adhesive in international relations.
没有信任，
Without
一
trust,
切都无从谈起。
nothing can be achieved.
中国人向
The
来
Chinese people
重信守义，
put great value on trust,
讲信修睦，
integrity,
乐交天下朋友。
amity, and good faith, and hope to
我们
make
已与
friends
40
across
个
the
国家
world.
和国际组织
We
建
have
立了多
established
项防务安
more
全
than
磋商机
50
制，
defense and security dialogues with our
以12
counterparts
个
from
陆地
over
领土
40
解决了陆地边
countries
境
and international organizations and
我们希望
settled
各国
land
军队
border disputes with
以信
12
相
neighbors. The
将
Chinese
继续
military
深化中俄两军战略互信
develops
战略
relations with foreign militaries on the basis of
也
mutual
愿
trust.
按照
We
相
will
互尊重
continue to deepen strategic trust and cooperation with the Russian military and develop
合作共赢的原则，
China-US military relationship.
我们
Under the principle of mutual respect, peaceful coexistence, and
将
win-win
继续深
cooperation.
化中俄两军战略合作和战略协作，
The Chinese
也
military
愿按照相互尊
develop
重、
relations
和平共
with
处
foreign militaries on the
合作共赢
basis
的
of
原则
mutual trust.
发展
We
中
will
美关系、
continue
军
to
事关系。
deepen strategic trust and
我
cooperation
们
with
将
the
持续
Russian
深化
military and develop
同周边
China-US
国家的
military
防务合作，
relationship under the principle
巩
of
固与
mutual
非洲、
respect, peaceful
拉美
coexistence,
和
and
加勒
win-win
比、
cooperation.
阿拉伯、
We will continue
南
to
太平
deepen
洋等
defense
地区各国
cooperation
军
with
队
neighboring countries and consolidate friendship with
也
the
愿
armed
加强与
forces
欧
in
洲国家
Africa, Latin America, and the
军事交往。
Caribbean, South Pacific, and Arab
同各
countries.
方一道，
We are also willing to
推
have
动
more
构建
military
民
exchanges
主
with
互
the
信、
European
合
countries.
作共赢的
Let
积
us
极
work together
安
to
全
build
伙
a
伴关系。
new type security partnership featuring equality, mutual
我们要
trust,
共同
and
完善
win-win
安全
cooperation. We should work together to improve
近年来
security architecture.
我们加快构建
In
上
recent
合组
years,
织命运共
we
同
have stepped up efforts
支持
to build a Shanghai
亚细会议
Cooperation
机制
Organization
以东盟国家
community
全
of
面
shared
有效落实
future and strengthen institutions of the Conference on Interaction and Confidence-Building
持续推
Measures
进
in Asia.
南海行
We
为
stay
合作
committed
磋商
to working with ASEAN countries
积极参
to
加
fully and
莫斯科国际
effectively
会议
implement the
安全会议
EOC and advance
香格里拉
negotiations
对话
on the
会
COC. We actively
东盟防长
participated
国
in
长
multilateral security mechanisms,
常态化
including the
运行
Moscow Conference on
举行
International
中非
Security,
合作
the
安全会议
Shangri-La Dialogue, and the ASEAN
中
Defense
拉高级
Ministers
防务
Meeting Plus. We also hosted the China-Africa Peace and Security Forum and the China and Latin America High-Level Defense Forum on a regular basis. Going forward, we would like to further improve various regional security architectures and deepen regional security cooperation. We will promote coordination and cooperation among different security mechanisms in an inclusive and complementary manner, and strive to create a fair and just regional security architecture that is built and shared by all. We should jointly strengthen security governance. China firmly safeguards the international system with the UN at its core. As a member to nearly all universal intergovernmental organizations and a signatory to over 600 multilateral international conventions, China remains committed to addressing global security issues with all countries together. We have worked for the adoption of the first-ever joint statement of the leaders of the 5 nuclear weapon states and proposed the Global AI Governance Initiative and the Global Initiative on Data Security. The Chinese military have left footprints for peacekeeping operations in over 20 countries and regions, and provided escort to more than 7,000 Chinese and foreign vessels. We will continue to fulfill the responsibilities of a major country and take an active part in security governance in terms of peacekeeping operations, arms control, vessel protection, counter-terrorism, and climate change. We will strengthen communication on security issues in emerging areas, actively participate in the formulation of global security rules, and play a constructive role in safeguarding world peace. We shall advance security cooperation with solid actions. President Xi Jinping underlines that only through win-win cooperation can we make big achievements that are beneficial to all. Over the years, the Chinese military is actively engaged in various forms of international security cooperation. We have conducted around 300 joint exercises with more than 60 countries and built signature programs including the Joint Sea Naval Exercise, Armen Youyi Joint Exercise, and Peace Mission Joint Exercise. Going forward, China will continue to participate in military cooperation under the UN, the SCO, etc., and deepen exchanges with relevant countries in terms of equipment, technology, logistics, medical service, and personnel training. We are also willing to participate in joint exercises hosted by other countries if invited. The Chinese military will continue to support military development of other countries in need to the best of our capacity and provide more public security goods to the international community. Friends and colleagues, as the Chinese saying goes, nothing is more beneficial than stability, and nothing is more detrimental than turmoil. In this era full of challenges and hope, we need to take a responsible attitude for our time, our people, and the world. We should follow the trend of the times, respond to the expectations of countries, stay united, and work hand in hand to blaze a broad path to common security and lasting peace. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, friends, General Zhang delivered a wonderful speech. Let's thank him again with a round of applause. This concludes the opening ceremony. Distinguished delegations, please do not leave. The first plenary session will soon begin.
尊敬的各位来宾，大会即将开始，请您尽快落座，谢谢您的合作。
Distinguished guests, the conference is about to kick off. Please take your seat. Thank you for your cooperation.
尊敬的各位来宾，大会即将开始，请您尽快落座，谢谢您的合作。
Distinguished guests, the conference is about to kick off. Please take your seat. Thank you for your cooperation.
有请主持人和第一次全体会议嘉宾上台落座。
I would like to invite the hosts and the guests of the first plenary session to take their seats.
会议的主题是 大国责任与全球安全。习近平主席多次指出，大国要有大国的样子，要展现更多责任担当。我们理解，大国是构建
We understand that major countries play an important role in building a new type of international relations. Major country relations have a direct bearing on world peace and stability and global prosperity and development. Facing changes unfolding in the world, rarely seen in a century, and a volatile international situation and growing global challenges. What kind of major country relations the world needs, and what responsibilities should the major countries undertake, and how should major countries work together to promote global security?
围绕这些问题，我们非常荣幸地请到了7位嘉宾。
Focusing on these questions, we are honored to have 7 distinguished guests. They are Minister of Defense of the Russian Federation, Mr. Sergei Shoigu. Deputy Prime Minister and the Minister of National Defense of Cambodia, General Tia Shehan. Vice Minister of Defense of Indonesia, Muhammad Harindra. Chief of the Joint Staff of the Armed Forces, Defense Ministry of Brazil, Admiral Renato Rodrigues de Aguiar Ferrari. Minister of Defense of Nigeria, Muhammad Baduru Abubakar. ASEAN Secretary General, His Excellency Kong King Hong. And Deputy Secretary General of the Secretariat of the Shanghai Cooperation Organization, Bobonov Shokru. First of all, I'd like to invite the Defense Minister of the Russian Federation, Senior General Shoigu, to take floor.
уважаемые товарищи, дамы и господа,
Distinguished colleagues, ladies and gentlemen, dear friends, it is my great pleasure to be invited to attend the 10th Beijing Shanshan Forum. I'd like to thank our Chinese hosts for their traditional hospitality and the comfortable working conditions created by you. Beijing Shanshan Forum has become an authoritative dialogue platform. So in a friendly and constructive atmosphere, participants could discuss practical issues in international and regional security, as well as potential military cooperation among them. Not long ago, the Third Belt and Road Forum for International Cooperation was successfully concluded, showing that more and more countries support cultural diversity, mutually beneficial cooperation, and a fair and stable multilateral world in which the balance of different interests of different countries. So now we have seen some more and more political and economic centers to uphold sovereignty, national interest, and tradition and the way of culture and the way of life. President Putin and President Xi Jinping met on the sideline of the Third Belgian Forum for International Cooperation. They discussed these issues. Our two presidents showed that the two sides will work hard to develop the comprehensive partnership of strategic cooperation between our two countries. And they also agree to step up practical cooperation on the international stage.
Модель межгосударственных отношений Москвы и Пекина, по сути, можно назвать образцовой.
Model relations between Beijing and Moscow can serve as a model, and it has become more and more attractive. Those countries that are not willing to be forced into the Western Bloc, the number is growing. Dear colleagues, in international relations, the major struggle is about a small number of countries to maintain their hegemony, and some other countries opposed it. The opposition to a new type of Western colonialism is growing. Equality, security, indivisible security. And these countries have come under severe pressure. Economically and politically, their developments have been strangled at bottlenecks. The United States is working tirelessly to maintain its hegemony, which will disappear soon. To maintain its geopolitical and strategic dominance, the United States is deliberately undermining the basis of international security and strategic stability, including arms control agreements, and undermining the legitimate rights and interests of Russia for its own security. And NATO is continuing expanding eastward. These aggressive acts forced Russia to take some countermeasures. Later, Western countries claim that they launched a hybrid war to bring strategic failure to Russia. And Western countries aim to escalate the conflict with Russia and increase the risk of major country confrontation. This will lead to serious consequences. United States and other Western countries worked tirelessly to undermine the national security of Russia. But the situation in the special military operations prove that their attempts are futile.
Киев потерял свыше 90 тысяч военнослужащих убитыми и ранеными, около 600 танков и почти 1900 бронемашин различного класса. При этом на поле боя не было достигнуто никаких тактически значимых успехов. Российские вооруженные силы продолжают методично и уверенно выполнять поставленные задачи, обеспечивая безопасность мирных жителей. Дамы и господа,
to deploy forces in the Asia-Pacific region. The Western countries is hyping up the so-called indivisible security between Atlantic, Indian Ocean, and the Pacific in order to make it an excuse for them to deploy NATO forces and facilities in Asia. This kind of way of thinking stands in sharp contrast to the principle of indivisible security and the community of shared future for mankind proposed by President Xi Jinping and jointly promoted by China and Russia. The difference is that we do not allow the pursuit of one's own security as the security of others. As NATO members, the United Kingdom, France, Germany, Netherlands, and Italy are taking political steps to further stimulate militarization and arms race. In some countries, they are deploying regular air and maritime military forces, stepping up multilateral exercises and to conduct deterrence and confrontation programs. Their security is not threatened in any way. So, in the excuse of seeking dialogue and the coordinated operation, NATO is covering its real intention to increase presence in the Asia-Pacific region. United States, South Korea, and Japan share their missile launch information. This information is used by the U.S. military forces in Asia-Pacific to deter China and Russia. The biological military activities of the United States are also intensifying in Singapore, Thailand, Cambodia, and South Korea. The United States is building a lab network. In a similar lab, U.S. lab in Ukraine, it has enjoyed the support of some European countries. These European countries try to join the ASEAN Plus mechanism. The U.S. and its allies try to make humanitarian intervention in the name of climate change and emergency topics. Recently, the United States paying close attention to human rights issue as a legitimate excuse for other countries to use military force. United States and its allies, based on their Indo-Pacific strategies, is building a containment and the blockage network centered on the United States in the Asia-Pacific region. The NATO, this is one of the first steps taken by NATO in the Asia-Pacific region, like the Quad, the AUKUS, as well as the group of Japan, Australia, New Zealand, and South Korea. They are major parts of this network. A growing number of selected ASEAN countries are joining these organizations. Such moves will undermine the unity of ASEAN, as well as its original function of maintaining peace and stability. Such attempts will undermine ASEAN's centrality and security. And it is unacceptable to replace ASEAN centrality with a closed Indian Ocean, Indian Pacific bloc. AUKUS military cooperation has not only upgraded traditional weapons of its members, but also promote nuclear weapons development among them. It has undermined the non-proliferation mechanism in Asia-Pacific region. And don't forget that after Russia withdrew its approval on comprehensive ban on nuclear test treaty, some Western countries criticized Russia for reducing the threshold for using nuclear weapons. Such criticism is groundless. The nuclear doctrine of Russia remains unchanged. We will use nuclear weapons in two scenarios. First, Russia comes under nuclear threat, or some regions come under nuclear threat. And even such a threat are conventional weapons from Russia Federation. As for our withdrawal on the approval for the Treaty of Comprehensive Ban on Nuclear Test, that's only about balancing with the United States, because the United States did not approve this treaty as well. So there is not the case of severing or destroying this treaty. Now what is happening in the world requires the Russian Federation to change its foreign policy priorities. Among them, Asia-Pacific takes an important position because we are always closely linked with Asia-Pacific countries. We will keep pushing cooperation with ASEAN countries. Most Southeast Asian countries, despite cruel pressure from the United States and its allies, have not joined the alliance to impose sanctions on Russia. Such cooperation is in full consistency with national laws and international laws, not targeted at any third party. And Russia would like to continue to have military cooperation with other countries, including military defense industry, military exercises, and as well as port calls. I want to stress that such activities are consistent with relevant laws of the countries, and they are not targeted at third countries. So it is very important that in ASEAN, the multilateral platform, practical cooperation on ASEAN-related practical multilateral platform will continue. From 2020 to 2023, in the EMM Plus meeting, Russia has made important contribution to counterterrorism cooperation. At the end of September this year, when holding the rotating presidency along with Myanmar, in Russia's Far East, we conducted a counter-terrorism exercise participated by 12 countries. Soldiers, 643 soldiers from Brunei, Vietnam, Indonesia, Cambodia, China, Laos, Malaysia, Myanmar, Russia, Thailand, the Philippines attended these exercises. Participants from Australia, New Zealand, Singapore, United States, South Korea, and Japan rejected to participate. We also worked together with Laos as a co-chair for the demining expert working group to build our humanitarian operation to remove landmines from 2024 to 2027. So we argue that the ASEAN Defense Ministers Plus meeting should focus on practical cooperation rather than deviated into other irrelevant issues. In addition, Shanghai Cooperation Organization also plays a very important role in promoting indivisible security and respect for cultural diversity. This role is increasingly important. The SCO is fighting against the three forces: illicit drug trafficking, cross-border crimes, and ensuring information security, playing a positive role in upholding regional security. The Peace Mission joint exercise initiated in 2005 is conducive to the enhancement of SEO capacities in addressing multiple challenges and threats. Russia is open. Ladies and gentlemen, dear friends, Russia is open about discussion and the resolution of any issue in the security field. And we only have one condition. Such dialogue should be based on equality and honesty and mutual respect. However, if Western countries do not change its policies, destructive policies, and blame strategic failure on Russia, such dialogue will not materialize. If conditions are right, the Russian Federation is willing to have negotiations, including on the resolution of the Ukraine crisis after the conflict and the coexistence with Ukraine, as well as other issues. At the same time, we should also ensure the equality of P5s with nuclear weapons, because these countries undertake huge responsibilities for world peace and stability. In order to build an equitable and multipolar world, we need to make adjustments to the current international security landscape to make it more stable. And this endeavor calls for the concerted efforts of all parties. Thank you.
Thank you very much, General Shoigu. Now I give the floor to General T. Seha, Minister of National Defense of Cambodia.
Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, I am pleased to join the 10th Beijing Zhangshan Forum, an important venue for convening our shared aspirations for promoting and preserving peace, security, and cooperation. I would like to extend my gratitude to the China Association of Military Science and China Institute of International Strategic Studies for their relentless efforts to orchestrate this senior level security and defense interactions after a few years of disruption due to the COVID-19 outbreak. By assuming new roles as Deputy Prime Minister, Minister of National Defense of the Kingdom of Cambodia, I am delighted to have the opportunity to address this esteemed gathering for the first time to express Cambodia's perspective in the first plenary sessions on the themes, the responsibility of major countries and global security cooperation. The global landscape is undergoing swift and unparalleled transformations, riddled with profound uncertainties. Within the realm of the geopolitical dynamics and the fact of expanding security challenges, the intensifying geopolitical competition among major powers is inducing continuous altercations in the regions and global strategic milieu, exerting pressure on peace, security, and prosperity. The ongoing war in Ukraine has inflicted substantial destructions. The repercussions of this war extended far beyond its borders, with all of us experiencing ripple effects, either directly or indirectly. This can lead to a shift in perspective due to fatigue or potential emergence of new participants into the conflicts. The intensifying of the war between Israel and Hamas has brought massive destructions and suffering to innocent civilians on both sides, the like of which has been unprecedented in history. It seems to be an endless retaliation. The prospects of having Israeli and Palestinian to harmoniously live alongside with each other seems to be increasingly elusive. The profound shock, horror, and desperations experienced by the innocent, particularly women and children, is immeasurable. The escalations of the war, characterized by the indiscriminate fatalities and intolerance of heavy-handed military operation, reflect a significant erosion of trust and diminishing confidence in multilateralism. The most suitable course of action under the current circumstance will be for the world power and regional stakeholders to manifest their commitment to end the bloodshed and calamity, to in return negotiated in spirits of humanity and peace as countries in the region are destined to coexist for centuries to come. From Cambodia experience, we strongly believe that dialogue and diplomacy serve as the most effective instrument to resolve conflict. All concerned parties in conflict should constructively engage with one another in order to cease violence, foster mutual understanding, and respect the interests of security concerns of which are the while pursuing their individual security and national interests. Other than existing traditional security concerns, climate change is concurrently posing a significant threat to human existence. Despite numerous efforts to mitigate the risk of climate change, we have not seen any substantial improvements. There is a strong necessity for a more robust collective effort of all nations, especially among major countries. Without collective and urgent actions, the world will see the exacerbation of poverty, hunger, and livelihood of pandemics, and a perpetuating cycle of instability and conflicts. It is vital upon major industrial nations to lead by example in this endeavor to safeguard our planet. In response to this evolving trend, the imperative for nations, regardless of size, to unite under the shared objective, reinforce their cooperative bond and mutual understanding. There should be a greater focus on addressing developing issues and preventing the expansion of existing conflicts. Peace remains the cornerstone of our collective aspirations. It is only through peaceful coexistence and dialogue that we can achieve stability and create an environment conducive to progress and development. Therefore, the commitment to uphold the principle of the UN Charter, including a peaceful settlement of disputes, non-interference, and respect for the sovereignty of nations, remain paramount for all nations. Excellency, ladies and gentlemen, given the interconnected nature of our global challenges, it is imperative that major nations, as key geopolitical players, take on a constructive role in addressing a multitude of issues and ensuring the safety and stability of the global community. We also encourage major countries to adhere to multilateral process and the promotions of multilateralism. Multilateralism is the cornerstone of effective global security cooperation, and major countries must continue to foster this approach. By constructively participating in the international organizations such as the United Nations and the regional ASEAN-led security architecture such as the ARF, EAS, and the ADM+, major countries can contribute to the development of shared norms, rules, and mechanisms for conflict preventive resolutions. Prominent nations hold substantial roles and are equipped with more capability and resources in combating transnational threats. This can be achieved through information sharing, coordinating law enforcement activity, and implementing joint strategy by pooling collective resources and expertise. These nations can bolster their collective capacity to assist others in preventing and responding to these global challenges to safeguard collective welfare. By fulfilling the responsibility, major countries can contribute to safe, more stable world order. However, it is essential to recognize that all action should be guided by the principle of inclusivity, respect for sovereignty, and the pursuit of common interests. Only through collaborative effort we can effectively address the complex security challenges facing the global community and ensure the well-being of future generations. The ADM+ cooperation serves as an exemplary model of how major countries can contribute to regional security cooperation. The annual ADM+ meeting provides a valuable high-level defense platform for defense ministers to meet and uphold strategic dialogue on pressing security interests. The meeting not only encourages confidence building and preventing misunderstanding, but also provide a platform for seeking collective solutions to contemporary security challenges. In addition, the ADM+ Expert Working Group has also become an effective platform for practical cooperation among participating security, in which practical cooperation has been reinforced, namely maritime security, counter-terrorism, humanitarian assistance, and disaster response, peacekeeping operations, military medicines, humanitarian mine action, and cybersecurity. To bolster regional security and peace, Cambodia has taken an active role in collaboration with the Plus countries by co-chairing the ADM Plus expert working group, namely ADM Plus AWG on peacekeeping operations with the Republic of Korea, ADM Plus EWG on humanitarian mine action with China, and the next ADM Plus EWG cycle 2024-2027, we will co-chair the EWG on cybersecurity with Australia. Last year, Cambodia put forth several initiatives to enhance cooperation among ASEAN defense establishments, namely the cooperation on cross-border pandemic containment, enhancing support mechanism for ASEAN women peacekeepers, and establishing collaborations amongst ASEAN defense education institutions. The three cooperation initiatives were adopted by the 16th ADM along with the Phnom Penh vision on the role of defense establishment in support of COVID-19 recovery, co-drafted by Cambodia and Singapore. Currently, these initiatives are being implemented by the ASEAN defense establishment as a tangible form of cooperation. Excellency, distinguished delegate, as Cambodia Defense Minister, I would like to reaffirm Cambodia's commitment to enhance the broadening constructive cooperation with all nations through bilateral, regional, and international frameworks in order to contribute to the global peace, security, stability, sustainable development, and prosperity. Cambodia will persist on its path of an independent and neutral foreign policy grounded in the rule of law, mutual respect, and adherence to the principle of both the UN Charter and the ASEAN Charter. Our goal is to promote national interests, strengthen existing friendship, and foster new amicable relations. Cambodia remains resolute in its opposition to the threat of the use of force in international relations interfere in the internal affairs of the other countries. As the royal government of Cambodia aims to become the mine-free nation by 2025, we call for all continuous financial support and technical support. We also urge greater participation by the international community, especially major countries, to raise awareness of danger of landmine and unexploded ordnance. The hidden pillar of the threatened human security even after the cessation of armed conflicts. Moreover, as a true contributing nation, Cambodia remains steadfast in its commitment to PKOs as a testament to our dedication to international peace, security, and stability, which are crucial for sustainable development. In line with this, we pledge to continue to deploy more peacekeepers to the United Nations peacekeeping mission in response to the UN request. Overall, I would like to reiterate that Cambodia has been through many years of wars and peace, which is the foundation of current political stability. Come from the use of dialogue, tolerance, and building trust. These are the fundamental principles of Samdech Techo Hun Sen win-win policy, which ended the war at the end of 1998, bringing peace and complete national unity. Cambodia thinks that using war to end war is an ineffective way to find peace. Lastly, I would like to call on all nations to continue to commit the multilateral system, the respect of international law, rule, norms, and the principle of non-interference, In order to protect and promote sustainable peace, Cambodia is fully committed to enhancing unity and centrality of ASEAN against the backdrop of current geopolitical rivalry, and will continue to work closely with all nations to foster inclusivity, peace, and prosperity in the region and beyond. In conclusions, and once again, I thank you for the opportunity to contribute to this very important forum, and I extend my best wishes for your good health and success in your respective endeavor. Thank you.
Thank you very much, General Seha. Now I give the floor to His Excellency Harindra, Vice Minister of Defense of Indonesia.
Excellencies, distinguished participants of the Beijing Xiangshan Forum, Yao Sang Hao, a very good morning to you all. First, let me convey a deep apology from Indonesian Minister of Defense, Mr. Prabowo Subianto, for cannot attending this important event. Also, I'm present here as a follow-up to President Indonesia Joko Widodo's recent visit to China, which concluded productive result during bilateral meeting between President Joko Widodo and President Xi Jinping. Quoting a Chinese proverb that says, Zivang Yunan, Bafang Chiyuan. I hope I said it right, which translated as, when one side faces difficulties, support comes from all directions. This proverb describes the essence of human interdependence and solidarity. Every one of us has shared duty to stand by one another, especially when times get difficult. In moments of challenges or adversity, the principle of unity and collaboration makes all the difference. When we come together, we create a supportive and hopeful environment, making progress possible and ensuring a peaceful atmosphere. In today's interconnected world, no country can go alone. Challenges such as cyber threats, territorial disputes, and global health crisis impact us all and do not respect borders. To address these issues, collaboration and collective efforts are crucial. Even the most powerful country cannot tackle these problems in isolation. Certainly, countries with strong military, economic, and diplomatic power play a prominent role on the world stage. Their action carry considerable weight and can shape the global landscape. Their action, decisions, and stances can shape the future of global security and the well-being of smaller nations. It is bearing in mind, though, that modern imperialism has come to a threat towards global peace. For this reason, current global security cooperation must be directed at strengthening the principle of sovereignty and independence, as well as opposing all forms of neocolonialism that are contrary to the principles of international law. In the Middle East, the ongoing Palestinian issue serves as a reminder of the complexity of global politics. The struggles and hardships faced by the Palestinian people, especially in light of the recent violent outbreaks, underscore the need of peaceful solution. Indonesia firmly supports the United Nations' role in mediating and promoting peace and ensuring the viable path towards the two-state solution with East Jerusalem as the capital of Palestine. I mentioned the important role of the United Nations and also remind all of us that powerful countries bear a responsibility that extends beyond mere rhetoric. True leadership centers on advancing the United Nations ideals, where there is an emphasis on peace and fostering trust. It is not just about displaying military might or economic dominance. It is about being transparent, working collaboratively, and building trust with other countries. In our region, ASEAN exemplifies the advantages of collaborative efforts. From Indonesia's viewpoint, ASEAN represents strength that comes from unity. It goes beyond a mere of association. It is a testament to how cooperation ensures stability and progress in the region. We take pride in the fact that since ASEAN's inception, Southeast Asia has shown a significant progress toward regional stability. In the context of regional development and even global development, it is necessary to consider the shifting of our approach from economic rivalry to cooperation. I must emphasize here that even the strong countries would economically rely on developing countries, especially when it comes to natural resources issues as well as the target of global market. I believe that China's approach to economic cooperation and the transformation of rivalries into collaboration is of particular significance for its relationship with Indonesia. By emphasizing interdependence and suppressing rivalries, China's efforts have not only prevented trade wars, but also paved the way for firmer cooperation that promising togetherness in becoming part of global supply chain. Without putting aside our respect to each country's independence, establishment of economic cooperation would create interdependencies among the nation. Thus, this relationship holds great promise for regional and global economic stability. As we look ahead, it is evident that supporting multilateralism is the correct path. We need to strengthen international bodies and ensure that they represent voices from all corners of the globe. Our goal is to create a balanced and fair security framework that benefits everyone. In conclusion, we call on all countries, especially those with significant influence, to uphold and champion these values. Only by working together can we turn the vision of a peaceful, cooperative world into a reality. Each of us has a role to play in building a harmonious and secure future. My sincere appreciation. Thank you very much. 谢谢。
感谢赫林德拉先生。下面有请巴西
Now I'd like
弗
to
莱雷
invite
上
our
将
colleague
发
from
言，
Brazil,
有请。
the Chief of the Joint Staff of the Armed Forces, the Ministry of Brazil, Mr. Fabrício.
Ladies and gentlemen, good morning. Your Excellency General Yang Chuichu, Chairman of the Academy of Military Sciences, on behalf of whom I would like to greet all host authorities from this great nation and honorable representatives of other nations, highlighting the honor of the Brazilian Ministry of Defense feels for having been invited to participate in such an important event. It is a great honor and privilege to be here today to share some reflections on the theme that the forum highlights. Especially, I will focus on Brazil's and its strategic environment. And this forum on this such relevance, which is guided by the principles of equality, openness, inclusion, and mutual learning. Brazil, as a nation, has unique characteristics that shape its strategic environment and challenge our defense capabilities. To better understand these challenges, we must take into consideration the following. Brazil is the fifth largest country in terms of territory, covering a variety of geography ranging from tropical rainforests to extensive plains and mountains, and a wide diversity of ecosystems. With around 203 million nationals, much less than China, but still a number that should be taken into account, Brazil is among the most populated nations in the world, with a society rich in culture and ethnicity. Our people is a valuable resource and a challenge for development. We also share 16,000 kilometers of borders with 10 South American countries, with no contentious issues, with no border disputes, making these regions areas that deserve our attention, an example of peaceful cooperation and stability. Joint solutions in terms of security and cooperation are fundamental to promoting regional stability and security. Also, with an extensive coastline of around 8,000 kilometers, Brazil is strategically located in relation to global shipping routes and maritime security. Not least, Brazil has an immense wealth of natural resources and biodiversity, a heritage of inestimable value. Brazil's strategic environment, as defined by the National Defense Policy and the National Defense Strategy, comprises the geographical region surrounding Brazil, where political, economic, and security factors have a direct impact on our national interests. This area includes South America, the South Atlantic, the countries of West African coast, and the Antarctica. Brazil recognizes the importance of maintaining peaceful and cooperative relations with all nations in its strategic surroundings, promoting regional stability as a fundamental component of national security. This same defense policy and defense strategies emphasize the need that strengthens Brazil's defense capability to deal with specific challenges in the region, such as facing transnational threats, preserving sovereignty over our national resources, and promoting a safe environment for economic and social development. In this context, cooperation with regional partners and the adoption of mutual beneficial solutions play a crucial role in the search for enhanced security and stability in our strategic environment. I emphasize the importance of maintaining positive relations not only with our neighboring countries, but also with other global partners. The establishment of dialogues, mutual visits by high-level delegations, counterpart defense and military institutions, military educational institutions, and defense cooperation between Brazil and other countries in the defense area have strengthened our ability to deal with common challenges and contributed to global stability. In this regard, I would highlight Brazil's active role in the United Nations peacekeeping missions, such as the most recent examples in Haiti and Lebanon, as well as its presence in the Gulf of Guinea, where it carries out important actions to not to enforce, but to stimulate and provide training opportunities for countries in that region in order to increase their capacity to promote maritime security and combat threats such as piracy. I would also emphasize our actions together with the countries that compose the South Atlantic Peace and Cooperation Zone, seeking a peaceful and collaborative environment throughout the region, avoiding bringing extra-regional conflicts to the region. These actions demonstrate Brazil's proactive role in promoting stability, security, and global cooperation. To summarize, I would like to mention just a few of many words that should be part of any discussions on global security: respect, equality, cooperation, and trust. Finally, I wish you all an excellent forum, plenty of fruitful and collaborative discussion that allow for mutual learning. Thank you very much. Che.
感谢弗莱雷上将。
Thank you
下
very
面有
much,
请
General
尼日
Further,
利
now
亚
give the floor to
阿布巴
His
卡尔
Excellency
先生发言
Muhammad。
有请。
Bahadur Abu Bakar, Minister of Defense of Nigeria.
Distinguished delegates, esteemed colleagues, ladies and gentlemen, it is an honor and a responsibility to stand before you today at the esteemed Beijing Forum to discuss a topic of paramount importance. That's the responsibilities of major countries and global security cooperation. I bring with me not only the perspective of Nigeria, but the voice of Africa, a continent that has been at the forefront of merit security challenges and yet remain resilient and committed to a united, secure future. Global security isn't just about military might or economic prowess. It encompasses the shared destinies of nations, culture, and individuals. In today's interconnected world, the action or inaction of one nation can reverberate across continents, affecting millions, if not billions of lives. Historically, major powers have played a dominant role in shaping global security narratives. Their responsibilities, driven by national interests, often define the course of world events. However, as we have entered the 21st century, power dynamics have evolved. Emerging economies, including many in Africa, are taking their rightful place on the global stage. Nigeria, as Africa's largest economy and one of the biggest military powers, understands the weight of responsibility that comes with this position. But like other emerging nations, we advocate for a collaborative, inclusive approach to global security. The world can no longer afford a unipolar or bipolar perspective. Today's challenges demand multi-polar solutions, where both traditional and emerging powers play a pivotal role. With evolving power dynamics come shared responsibilities. Major powers, irrespective of their historical or current geopolitical stance, must do the following. A, prioritize diplomacy over confrontation. The first line of defense is always dialogue. Before military interventions, diplomatic channels should be exhausted. In a world where geopolitical dynamics are constantly changing, major powers face the critical choice between confrontation and diplomacy. Prioritizing diplomacy over confrontation is essential to maintaining international peace and stability, encouraging collaboration, preventing conflicts, and building a resilient global community. They should adhere to and reinforce the rules and norms set by international institutions like the United Nations, World Trade Organization, World Health Organization, and World Health Organization. By participating and respecting international treaties and agreements, countries uphold the standard of peaceful diplomacy, reducing the chances of conflict stemming from misunderstanding or non-compliance. Establishing and maintaining open lines of communication, even with adversaries, is crucial. Those channels can be used for direct dialogue, crisis management, and confidence-building measures. Additionally, hotlines, summits, and ambassadorial meetings should be routine, ensuring leaders and diplomats have a way to manage emerging crises swiftly and avoid escalation. B, support international law. Abiding and championing international laws ensures a fair play field for all nations. In an increasingly volatile global environment, the support for international law by major powers is more critical than ever. The adherence to and promotion of those laws create a framework that can prevent conflict, protect human rights, and maintain global stability. Committing to international treaties and agreements from human rights to arms control is a fundamental step. By not only signing, but also rigorously implementing and adhering to those treaties, major powers set a standard and expectations for other nations to follow. By regulating international arms sales, major powers can help prevent human rights abuses, reduce regional conflicts, and support international peacekeeping efforts. This includes respecting international agreements that governs the arms trade and imposing strict conditions that prevent those weapons from being used in conflicts that contravene international law. Most importantly, major powers must themselves comply with international law. This means holding themselves accountable when they or their citizens violate those laws
thereby setting a powerful example for the rest of the world. C. Promote sustainable development. Security isn't just about borders and armies. Hunger, poverty, and unemployment can destabilize regions just as efficiently as armed conflicts. In the face of growing global concerns about conflicts, major powers have a significant role in promoting sustainable development. Sustainable development is integral in creating a more secure world, as poverty, inequality, and resource depletion can be underlying drivers of unrest and conflict. Major powers should commit to sustainable practices within their borders by implementing policies that balance economic growth with environmental protection and social welfare. By setting ambitious targets for things like carbon neutrality, renewable energy uses, and sustainable agriculture, they set a precedent for other nations. They can allocate more funds to sustainable development programs in less developed countries through genuine grants, loans, or development assistance without strings attached. By investing in sustainable infrastructure, education, healthcare, and conservation efforts, major powers help build capacities that contribute to the long-term stability of peace. Major powers can advocate for and establish fair trade policies, remove unfair barriers against export from developing countries. This approach both developing countries, providing them with resources for sustainable growth, and reduce economic disparity that can lead to conflicts. Working with other nations on security issues, including intelligence sharing, joint training, and coordinated response to crisis, can help maintain regional and global stability, allow sustainable development efforts to progress unhindered by conflict. By promoting sustainable development, major powers can help alleviate the conditions that often give rise to conflict, such as poverty, inequality, and competition over scarce resources. This strategy requires a long-term commitment and the acknowledgement that global stability is deeply intertwined with sustainable development. D. Collaborate on technological advancement. In an era of cyber warfare, artificial intelligence, driven threats, and advanced weaponry, collaboration ensures that technology becomes a tool for peace, not destruction. The rapid pace of technological advancement presents both opportunities and challenges on global stage. For major powers, collaboration is key to ensuring that technology serves as a tool for inclusive progress rather than a source of division and inequality. Major powers should lead in establishing international ethical standards for the emerging technologies like artificial intelligence, biotechnology, and cybersecurity. Those standards can prevent abuses, protect against privacy infringements, and ensure technology is used for the public good. Collaborative framework for ethical technology use promote trust and shared responsibility among nations. Collaborative initiatives aimed at expanding global digital access can bridge the digital divide. Investment in digital infrastructure in less developed areas, perhaps as part of the foreign aid or through international financial institutions, ensures more equitable access to the benefit of technology. Digital inclusion enhances education, economic and social outcomes, enabling countries to participate more fully in the global digital economy. Major powers can initiate and participate in international partnerships aimed at technological research and development. Those collaborative efforts can pool resources, knowledge, and funding to push the boundaries of technology. Such partnership, when inclusive of developing nations, ensure broader global representation in technological advancement, helping to mitigate the divide often seen between technologically advanced and developing nations. Africa, with its diverse culture, economies, and histories, encapsulate many of the security challenges the world faces today. From terrorism to environmental threat, from economic disparity to health crisis, major powers have the responsibility to approach Africa not as a land of problem, but a partner for solution. Investment shouldn't be extractive but constructive. Security collaboration should prioritize capacity building and local empowerment. Only when we shift from the paradigm of aid to one of partnership can we achieve sustainable security. In recognizing the stride of African nations towards collaborative security and stability, we must spotlight Nigeria's remarkable triumph in safeguarding its territorial waters, achieving a milestone in maritime security with no single piracy incident reported in well over a year. This success hard won through strategic investment in naval capabilities, robust legal framework, and regional collaboration, signifies more than Nigeria's commitment to safe trade and commerce. It is a beacon of our dedication as a country to fostering peace and stability across Africa, particularly West Africa and the contiguous Sahel. Furthermore, Nigeria reaffirmed its position as a pillar of democracy within the continent in general and West Africa in particular, actively upholding the sacrosanct tenets of democratic principle and constitutional governance. As a powerhouse in Africa, Nigeria's ongoing endeavors, including its leading role in the regional bodies like ECOWAS, showcase its resolve in shouldering the responsibility of ensuring a safer, more stable region, setting a precedent in resilience and governance that resound across African landscape. In conclusion, Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, the world stands at a crossroads. We can choose paths driven by self-interest, rivalry, and short-term gains, or we can pave a new road of collaboration, shared responsibility, and collective vision. Nigeria, on behalf of Africa, extends a hand of friendship to all major powers. Let us redefine global security, not as a battle to be won, but as a future to be shared. As we discuss, debate, and deliberate over the coming days, let us remember our shared humanity and the planet we all call home. Together, let us build a world that future generations can inherit with pride. I thank you very much.
Thank you.
阿布巴克尔先生。
Thank you, Mr. Abu
下面有
Bakr,
请
Minister of Defense of
东盟秘
Nigeria.
书
I
长
would like to invite
高金洪先生
Mr.
发
Kong
言。
King Hong,
有请
Secretary General of ASEAN. Let's welcome.
Excellency, Mr. Chairman Yang Xujun. First of all, let me start by expressing my sincere appreciation to the organizers, absolutely China Association of Military Sciences, China Institute of International Strategic Studies, Excellencies, Defense Ministers, Excellencies, all the military generals, Excellencies, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. I'm indeed honored to be joining this 10th Beijing Jinshan Forum. And I believe that this forum provides an important platform for us to share our perspectives, our experiences, and I also want to take this opportunity to congratulate China for having put together this Beijing Shenzhen Forum. It's its 10th anniversary. It has remarkable achievements already. I want to make three overall points at the this meeting. First, my general observations. And then second, of course, on my observation on the major powers' responsibility and global security cooperation. And my last point, of course, on the role of ASEAN in this context. I think we can say that we have not yet enjoyed 100 years of peace yet. Wars and conflicts continue to be part of modern political system. What happened in Ukraine, between Russia and Ukraine, the current Palestine-Israel conflict should serve as wake-up calls to all of us, that they all remain part of us. I think we have always believed that war is obsolete. War and conflict are obsolete, but they're not obsolete at all. But if war and conflict continue, then I think the survival of humanity will be a big question mark. So it's important for us to work together to make war obsolete, and the sooner the better. War and peace are absolutely two sides of the same coin. The border between war and peace are very thin and very fragile. I think from this perspective is that we should not take peace for granted. And that's why our investment in peace is absolutely necessary. We all know very well that great powers hold great responsibility, and we expect great powers to hold great responsibilities. To play a great role, assume great responsibility in the promotion and the maintenance of peace, stability, and security in the world today. War in modern times is no longer about land, sea, and sky, the three traditional domains of the military. It has in fact extended far beyond to space and cyber and technology, which absolutely made war and conflict become even much more complex and comprehensive and more deadly indeed. Today, we can say that we spend more resources investing in preparing for war, defense spending. This is my overall general observation. I've seen what's happening in the world today. Let me move on briefly on what I observe as the major countries' responsibility in global security cooperation. First, all major powers, and for the matter all countries, should work together to build world peace, enduring peace. By making war and conflict obsolete, the sooner the better, the world should enjoy a longer period of peace, particularly for the present and all the future generations. Second, I think we have to strongly support multilateralism. In that respect, all major powers and all countries have the responsibility to make the United Nations stronger, more effective, and more working better and more effective. And of course, it's the United Nations also that have to keep the world at peace. But if the United Nations become paralyzed, particularly the UN Security Council, we should go back and look at the lessons from the League of Nations. How the League of Nations failed and went down in history. My next point I want to make with regard to this major powers, that all major powers should be put a cap on defense spending. More investment should be made in peace-related programs like women, peace and security, youth, peace and security. Youth and women are the future. Fourth, all major powers should impose a moratorium on production of nuclear weapons and weapons of mass destruction. I think there has been a lot of arms race, arms build-up. It's important for us to focus on arms control and disarmament. Today, we don't talk a lot more about arms control and arms disarmament. And I think at the same time, we should work toward a reduction of stockpile of those nuclear weapons and weapons of mass destruction. My last point on this observation is that all major powers should respect the UN Charter and all international laws and treaties, in both in letter and in spirit, and making great efforts to promote and strengthen dialogue and diplomacy in order to give peace to the world a chance, to give peace a chance for the world. I'm going to move on to my third point, and that is on the role of ASEAN. What ASEAN has been advocating, one, of course, is on dialogue and consultations. ASEAN has been embracing from the very beginning the culture of dialogue, the habit of consultations, the series of negotiations, the art of compromise. Over 56 years, this has been the hallmark of ASEAN. We hope this is the culture that we have in the world. ASEAN also has been engaged actively, what we call external engagement, the arts of engagement with our external partners, all major powers. They are our friends, they are our partners. And we work with our partners through ASEAN-led mechanisms and ASEAN instruments. At all levels through the ASEAN Plus One mechanism, ASEAN Plus 3 mechanism, ASEAN Regional Forum, East Asia Summit, ASEAN Defense Ministers Plus, among others. These mechanisms not only meeting among the countries involved, but also there are series of bilateral diplomacy on the sidelines of every meetings that we organize. So there are layers of dialogues and cooperation. Also, ASEAN also advocating its own instruments, in particular the Treaty of Amity and Cooperation in Southeast Asia, or the TAC. At the moment, we have 54 paid contracting parties that have acceded to the Treaty of Amity and Cooperation in Southeast Asia. And this treaty are called for 3 key important issues, among others. 1 is the peaceful settlement of disputes. 2, no use or threat of use of forces. And 3, carry out friendly cooperation in all interstate, the conduct of interstate relations. That's what we've been doing through the dialogue, through the engagement, through cooperation that we have been working with our dialogue partners, our sectoral dialogue partners, our development partners, and other external partners. Today, ASEAN has 10 member states that have their permanent representative as ambassador accredited to ASEAN. Also, our observer Timor-Leste, its ambassador and mission also accredited to ASEAN. But also we have 95 non-ASEAN ambassadors that have also accredited to ASEAN, working closely with ASEAN. And this continues to grow. My next point I want to share with Excellency, ladies and gentlemen, and that is on the ASEAN outlook on the Indo-Pacific, which has been a very important priority for ASEAN. Under the AOIP, we have 4 priority areas that we work with our partners. And we invite all of you to support and work with us also. And those are maritime cooperation, connectivity, sustainable goals, economic and other areas of cooperation. So here, ASEAN seeks cooperation, development, peace, and prosperity. Also, at the moment, ASEAN's top priorities is to continue to enhance regional integration and connectivity, and the community building process. As at the moment, we're working toward the ASEAN Community Vision 2045 to look ahead in the future how we should continue to respond in the region and the world. In essence, ASEAN continue to invest in what I call 5 Ps, and that's peace, prosperity, planet, people, and partnership. So we request, invite, and seek all major powers to work, major powers and partners to support and work with ASEAN to build a region of enduring peace and prosperity, a region that without nuclear weapons and weapons of mass destruction. That's why we invite all 5 nuclear weapon states to accede to the protocol of the Southeast Asia Nuclear Weapon Free Zone Treaty. So in conclusion, you can see we are embracing cooperation instead of confrontation. We work to enhance strategic trust without increasing strategic mistrust. We focus on enhancing engagement without increasing isolation. And we work on diplomacy without engaging in gunboat diplomacy, conflict and war. So it's important for us to continue to work on tension reductions and conflict prevention. I thank you.
感谢高金红先生。下面有请上合组织副理事长博波诺夫先生发言。有请。
Уважаемый председатель, уважаемые участники, дамы и господа. Для меня большая честь выступить на первом пленарном заседании 10-го форума Синьшань, чтобы обсудить с вами тему ответственности великих держав и сотрудничества в области глобальной безопасности. Хотел бы выразить признательность организаторам форума за приглашение. Как нам всем известно, сегодня мировое сообщество все еще находится в крайне тревожном геополитическом положении.
The geopolitical situation of the world is rather worrying. The world is now in an era of fast technological progress and is experiencing unprecedented changes. With this progress, we see strengthening multipolarity, interdependence, and digitalization, as well as the increasingly complex international threat and challenges. They are increasingly destructive and dangerous, be it terrorism, climate change, infectious diseases, and other global issues, or regional conflicts and tensions are all threatening world peace and prosperity. It is still the whole mankind's common vision to maintain security, stability, and cope with all challenges and threats, as well as to address global development problems. In this context, it is all the more important for major countries to shoulder their responsibilities. First, major countries should shoulder more responsibilities in facilitating global security cooperation. We should uphold the principle of multilateralism, strengthen international cooperation, and cope with global issues together. Only when the international community comes together can we achieve the goal of global security. In the meantime, we must respect other countries' sovereignty and territorial integrity and be opposed of hegemonism and unilateralism so that we can push forward the global governance system toward a direction that is fairer and more just and equitable. All countries should equally participate in international affairs
share the development results and address global issues together. In this context, the SCO has been strengthening its constructive role in international affairs, particularly in security cooperation. We advocate to use cooperation to ensure security and use appropriate mechanisms to strengthen security based on mutual trust. We recognize that international terrorism, cross-border crimes, drug dealing, arms struggling, illegal immigration, and cyber attacks and climate change do not know national borders. Rather, they are international. This means that we must make joint efforts to form effective strategies to cope with them. Our security cooperation is based on the Shanghai spirit, based on mutual trust, mutual benefit, equality, coordination, consultation, and respect. This is the essence of the Shanghai spirit. Undoubtedly, the advantage of the SCO is the high degree of mutual trust and coordination among its members, so that it has achieved remarkable results in securing security and stability. SCO has taken substantive measures against the three forces, namely cyber crimes and cross-border crimes, and we regularly would conduct anti-terrorism drill and emergency drills and regularly exchange experiences to strengthen our capacities against regional security threats and challenges. Our security cooperative mechanism is also ever improving so that we can make more important contribution to security and stability of the region and the world. And here I have to mention SCO's efforts in maintaining security and stability in the region, particularly its regional anti-terrorism institute, and it as a hub of SCO against terrorism, extremism, and separatism. It has become a successful example of multilateral cooperation in this regard. In the future, the SCO will continue to serve as a fulcrum of strengthening regional and global peace and security, and now more than ever before, we need to uphold multilateralism as a principle and value. Therefore, we advocate to strengthen the cooperation and the collective capacity of all countries and international organizations in predicting, preventing, and managing complicated risks. For example, outbreaks of pandemics, new types of war, large-scale cyber attacks, ecological disasters, etc. We have the confidence to say that the SCO is a responsible and influential international participant in maintaining peace, stability, and development, and we are adopting and will continue to adopt all necessary measures to prevent and crack down on current challenges and threats and make sure regional security. Ladies and gentlemen, global security cooperation is a long and complicated process which requires common and concerted efforts of all countries. Let us continue to support each other based on equitable consultations so that we can strengthen international cooperation and stability. Thank you. Thank you very much, Mr. Bobanov. Ladies and gentlemen, dear guests, just now, our 7 distinguished guests made wonderful speeches full of insights and wisdom. Now we enter the interaction session. We have 2 rare opportunities of questions. Please, after raising your hand, indicate to whom you wish to direct your question. First, the first question. Thank you, General Yang for this question. I'm a research fellow from the PLA Association of Military Sciences. My question is to our Brazilian guest. We know that Brazil is one of the founding members of the BRICS group and important member of the group. Not long ago, in South Africa, at the BRICS meeting, 6 new members participated or joined the group. So as a military leader of Brazil, what's your take on the future prospects of military cooperation among the BRICS members?
Thank you for your question. BRICS is a success, an initiative that brought together great countries with great perspectives, and as any organization, the BRICS felt the need to evolve, to be better, to be more inclusive, and that's why it expanded. So because of the success of the BRICS, other countries feel the need to join. So the same thing with the military. As I mentioned in my speech, we live in our region is a peaceful region that it is all the former disputes were dealt with dialogue successfully, and we have a history of cooperation and working together, so we can bring this to the same environment as BRICS. The military can enhance the cooperation, enhance all the key words that I mentioned before: equality, respect, trust, and cooperation, and even more. So we can work together, and BRICS, the future of BRICS is being even bigger. So we hope that that experience with new countries will attract others, so we can build together our global security system, more and more confident measures, and more friendship among countries. Thank you very much.
Thank you, our Brazilian colleague, for your constructive answer. Now, the second question. Second question, please.
Mayor General Julio Ernesto Florian Pérez, Viceministro de Defensa de la República Dominicana.
I'm a Deputy Defense Minister from Dominica, and I have listened attentively to all the speeches, and I want to say that I agree with what these speakers have said in their speeches. I believe that cooperation is the only way out. We know that there are lots of security problems, particularly in border regions. In fact, the United Nations has conducted a lot of operations to help us resolve such security issues. But sometimes, you know that violence keeps escalating, and there are also organized crimes across the border. So we hope that such issues will be resolved. So I believe that the 7 speakers this morning know the situation very well. I also want to know from you, is it possible that these countries work together to enhance our border security?
Thank you.
主台嘉宾哪一位愿意
So
回答
I wonder which
这位
guest
先生
on the
提的问题
podium is willing to take the question from the Deputy Defense Minister of Dominica.
OK， 非常感谢。
Welcome. Please go ahead.
Brazil has formerly been part of United Nations missions in Haiti, and we stayed there with troops and the commanding officer for many years. And the mission achieved his goals in the security environment. But the situation in Haiti is more complex, involves social, economic, and many other issues. So there's another attempt to stabilize Haiti, as you mentioned, maybe with Kenya, and in order to enhance the police capabilities. All the countries, since we joined the United Nations, we are obliged to be ready to contribute with missions that United Nations decide that they must endure. For example, for Brazil, we only went out of the country with troops under the umbrella of United Nations. So, if UN decides, and that's the decision, all the countries who are binding for the United Nations Charter should be ready to provide the exact force multiplier and stability institutions that are required to stabilize the country. So I think it's a duty for everybody. Thank you.
再次感谢弗莱雷上
Thank you,
将。
thank you, General Ferrari, once again for taking the second question.
第一次全体会议
Now this
到
comes
此
to
结
the
束。
end of the first
下面
plenary
是
session.
茶歇
Now
时
we are
间
going to have
请各位嘉
tea
宾
break,
在茶歇期间
and
继
you
续交
can
流。
continue your private
茶歇时间
discussions
20分钟
at
，20分钟
tea
之
break.
后
Our
举
tea
行
break
第二
will
次
be
全体会
20
议。
minutes long, and in
再次
20
感谢
minutes we are
7
going
位
to
嘉宾，
have the
谢
second
谢大家。
plenary session. Well, I'd like to thank the 7 speakers once again for your speeches. Thank you.
将于30分钟后开始，期待您的出席。
The conference will begin in 30 minutes.
下次会议将于30分钟后开始，期待您的出席。
The conference will begin in 30 minutes.